I remember taking it, and then I remember going into like the clothing section, you know, so I'd have some cover. I remember, and then I remember like, I didn't care what the random cards are all that. Because this was the point in time where like a card, I couldn't even read. I didn't know what the cards did, right?
No one did.
I didn't know what the cards did. I just knew that it was the cover card. It was a boss monster, so it was powerful. So I remember I wanted Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So I remember I cracked open the thing. I took Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon out of it, and then I remember I took my shoe off and I put it in my shoe, and then I put my foot back over it. I can see when it's recording. I never. Interesting.
Yeah, that's why I was watching that timer during our video there. Well, anyways, welcome to It's Connects episode 3.
Did you say It's Connects?
It Connects. Did I say It's Connects?
You said It's.
You did. Yeah.
We're leaving that in.
Pause?
No, we let her on.
Yeah, we let her
on. All right, that's fine. But I think this is episode 3, right, Colin? Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't be forgetting our 3rd episode.
So welcome back to the Sun Pirates CCG. Today we are doing our 3rd installment of the It Connects podcast. See, that's how you say it, Trevor.
Oh, okay.
So as you can see today, we have a very special guest, Chris from the Small Hat Crew, the mastermind and brains behind the little cat logo and the blue purple crocodile.
I was gonna say there's no brains behind Small Hat. Like, I think that's the charm that people like about it.
It's them controlling a channel, right?
I do find it very interesting that your podcast is called It Connects, because like it has to do with like taking life. Because I remember like when me, Manny, and like Nick were trying to come up with a name for like what our podcast was gonna be before we decided on like the Back Table podcast. We were I remember like we pitched ideas. I remember the first one I pitched was like 4 at Life. You know, so it came back. Yeah, but it was also related to taking, or I guess not taking life in a way. But then I remember people like, what does that mean? I was like, okay. And that's why that didn't rock. But
that didn't stick? Yeah.
That it didn't stick. But anyway, my bad. No, take it back, Colin.
I'll give you the rights. But yeah, anyway, today, seeing that we have Chris on our channel, we're going to pick your brain about your background in the One Piece card game and other card games potentially. I'm a bad friend. I don't remember what other games you played. And about your channel and where you're going from there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready for the question.
So first off, I want to touch on something. Before we get into these questions, I want to touch on something. Real quick.
Yep.
Why the cat? Let's start there. Let's start there. Why is the cat? Of all the things in the world, why did that become your logo? What kind of... Because you guys weren't living together, like you, Nick, and Garen weren't. I'm sorry, a little background on where I don't know if they know that or not, but Nick and Garen weren't living together when you made the channel. So what brought you guys to bring Smalls as your captain? What brought that upon you guys?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What brought it about?
Like what decided? Because we came up with Sun Pirates, you know, and it didn't take long. But it was a good time.
It took like 5 minutes.
It took like 5 minutes, and like there's some animal
Sun Pirates actually. I'm gonna flip it back on you.
Well, okay. I asked first though. But we'll let Colin answer this one. We'll let Colin.
Okay, go Colin.
Oh, sure. So, well, first of all, we already wanted to make a channel, like me, Trevor, Arvin, and Muhammad, and number one, we wanted to obviously do something related to the franchise. But aside from that, also because like our locals is Sunshine Games, so we wanted to make, that's how we all met, and actually kind of how I met you too. So we wanted to make something connected to that, even though we're not really affiliated with the store or anything. But yeah.
Okay.
Now back to you, buddy. What's going on with that cat?
So, well, it's because Smalls is sick, right? Like, so that you sound like you don't believe. No, it's because Smalls is sick, right? Like, we all loved that cat. She is incredible, and we always talked about how she ran. So it was only natural that she would be the captain. She'd be running it. Also, because I remember like, cause like, so a lot of it comes back to her name. Cause,
Okay.
or let me find it. Cause Smalls' full name, her full legal name is, you're gonna want to cut.
That's not the legal
No,
name.
I mean, that's not the
Okay.
legal name. That can't be how that works.
No, it is. It is her legal name.
Wait, cut? You're gonna want to cut? Okay.
And how do you
Oh,
know?
no.
How do you not know this? You're a bad cat dad.
No. You'll understand why when I read the name. You'll understand why. I remember most of it, but then it loses me at a certain point.
Is it a sentence? What the?
Yes, it's a sentence.
Okay.
But it's more than a sentence. It's many sentences. Okay, so here we go. Let me think. So we started the podcast around here. So it should be, my god. 1 second. I took video.
That's okay. That's all right.
Take your time.
It's a clip because it's a clip. I said her full name in the Small Hat podcast, and I clipped it because I would never remember her name. Okay, so here we go. We're going through videos.
What a backwards ass way to figure out what your cat's name is.
Bro, it's so long. Like,
Colin, let me just say this. I'm glad we
That's
didn't
what
name
she
our,
said.
our. Oh, that's fair. I'm glad our channel wasn't named after the cat that we don't remember what their name was.
no. Okay. All right. So here we go.
All
So
right.
the reason the channel's named Small Hat Crew. So like I was saying before, obviously Smalls is sick. She's like really badass and everything, and like really cool and stuff, right? Like hits backflip and stuff.
Yeah.
But another part of it was like before we decided on Small Hat Crew, we were initially going to call it the Kit D Smalls Pirates, because it was always gonna be named after the cat. I pitched Kit D Smalls Pirates, and then Nick said, "What about the Small Hat Crew?" So Nick is actually the one that named the channel.
Okay.
But it's because Smalls' full name was Notorious CAT Kit D Smalls, the Second Coming, Genesis 1:6, and God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and separated the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so."
Bars.
Never mind. You're right.
I could
Name
never
the
remember that.
channel after the cat. You're right, dude. I'm so sorry.
I could never
Dude, you're just
remember
like
that.
Elon Musk naming his kid like that mathematical formula.
God, I think it's such a, not to mention I also thought like the channel logo being a cat and named after a cat and all that, it's kind of gas.
I mean, it's catchy. Yeah,
It's kinda
iconic.
gas.
The channel logo is fire. It's
Whenever people are like, because I also do love like being able to like actually, you know, when people are like, yeah, Chris is the leader of the channel, it's like, actually it's Smalls. And then they're like, oh yeah, my bad. Because that's what I love about it too, because people know. They just forget.
Yeah, I mean,
They already
why
know.
wouldn't they?
Yeah.
The cat doesn't go to locals, so it's not like it's advertising.
She only makes her
itself.
appearances in the podcast, you know. So.
True, yeah.
That's
But
fair.
yeah,
Alright,
that's how the channel got its name.
Perfect. So I think the next thing we're gonna touch on here is, Chris, what's your background in TCGs? Where did you come from? Because you're not a One Piece star. Like, you didn't start with One Piece because you hate One Piece, and I know you hate One Piece. So what did you start with? What brought you into the TCG world? What got you into collecting cardboard?
I started with Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
You know.
I'm
yeah.
kidding. Sorry, Yu-Gi-Oh players. I'm sorry.
No, they know.
I started with Yu-Gi-Oh too.
Yu-Gi-Oh! I feel like almost everybody. I feel like anyone that's played card games.
In our age group, for sure.
Yeah. So I remember I started with Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I remember like just growing up like watching the cartoon and all that, and then going to like Walmart and stealing the Pegasus. As I started like.
What?
So I remember the tech was I would go to McDonald's with my mom. She'd get me a Happy Meal, and then we would like leave and then go to like Walmart or something after. And I'd bring my Happy Meal in with me, and then I'd see the Pegasus start. My mom would be doing her own thing, and I'd be in the game aisle playing. Because this is back when like the demos were actually still, or the games are still in Walmart in the aisles and all that. You could play them.
Yeah.
With controller.
Oh yeah.
So she'd leave me there, and then I'd venture off into the toy section because this is when the decks, all the Yu-Gi-Oh decks, are actually still in the aisles and everything. They weren't brought to the front to be supervised. So I would leave. I'd go to the toy section, and then I would find like starter deck Pegasus, and I'd rip it open, and I'd take the sealed deck, and I would put it in my Happy Meal, and then I'd go find my mom. and be like,
So-
all right, I'm ready to go.
How many Pegasus decks did you steal?
Well, no, I stole one. I stole
Okay.
one, but this was a very. I did this all the time. It's just I only did it for Pegasus. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
I remember there was there's like the dragon deck. It had like Red Eyes Darkness Dragon in it. I
There's
stole
no-
which
I love
one.
the deck.
There's
there's-
one with
Oh,
Boy.
okay. I thought you were calling Red Eyes Black Dragon like you were just shitting on Joey. Like you weren't even giving him his name and stuff like that. I just thought you were
No.
just passing over.
No. I didn't. So I remember. So it was starter deck Kaiba,
Yep.
starter deck Pegasus. I didn't care for Dark Magician, so I didn't care about starter deck Yugi. I remember then there was like the Red Eyes starter deck. I remember taking that one. Vampire Genesis was the cover card of some zombie one I took.
I
Infernal
remember that
Flame
one.
Emperor.
Yep.
The
Yep.
Pyro one.
Yep.
Levia the Sea Lord or whatever, the dragon.
Oh,
I remember
Daedalus.
taking that
Yep.
one.
Yep,
Yes,
the
I
water.
remember that one. Bro, this was like, bro, my favorite store was Walmart, and my mom never knew why I was about to go to Walmart. Yeah, bro, my mom never knew why I wanted to go to Walmart so bad all the time as a kid, and it was always
Okay.
because while she did her shopping, I knew if I was going to Walmart, I was coming out with a new deck. That was the thing.
You're the reason they're up front. You're the reason.
You're the reason
Literally.
why like Yu-Gi-Oh packs nowadays have like the little like scanner code when
God,
or the little tag when you go through the scanner.
I remember there was this I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it was like I have like packs in it and then like face down cards so you couldn't see what they were. And then there was
the buy
Oh,
25
those,
random
yeah.
card shit.
Yes, it was-
okay.
and there was a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon on the front of it. There's a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. And I remember like what was it? I remember taking it. And then I remember going into like the clothing section, you know, so I'd have some cover. I remember, and then I remember like, I didn't care what the random cards or all that. 'Cause this was the point in time where like a card, I couldn't even read. I didn't know what the cards did, right?
No one did.
I didn't know what the cards did. I just knew that it was the
Yeah.
cover card. It was a boss monster, so it was
Yep.
powerful. So I remember I wanted Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So I remember I cracked open the thing. I took Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon out of it, and then I remember I took my shoe off and I put it in my shoe, and then I put my foot back over it.
That's amazing.
And I remember
That's
like walking
amazing.
out,
That's
and
so
it got
crazy.
so damaged. And then I remember like, so obviously it's damaged. And then like years later, you know, because now you're at that period where like you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
And I remember I had this dragon deck. I didn't know what the cards did, but I remember like there was this card called like Rollout. It was support for Union monsters, and there was a pick, or no, it was a Rollout, but there was like a warrior riding on a dragon, and it was Union support. It didn't do anything for dragons.
Oh,
But there was a
Black
dragon in the-
Armor- I think it was
Something
Black
like-
Armor, so our warrior or whatever his
Yeah, like
fucking
Dark
name
Blade.
was.
Yeah,
Dark
yeah,
Blade.
yeah. It was.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the trap card was, but he was riding on the dragon, and it was the
Yeah.
Union support. And I remember because there was a dragon in the picture, it was in my dragon deck. You know, it was it was in my dragon deck. And I remember like this is the period though. So you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh with your friends and all that. So you got your deck, you got the rubber band around it, and then you keep it in the Ziploc bag, and then you
the
put the Ziploc bag in
classic.
the tin. Right.
Yep.
So I remember like having the rubber band around it, and I had it in my pocket. And then I gave my clothes to my mom, and she washed them and everything. And this is also the point in time where I had just learned about sleeves. So it was like magic size sleeves. But and you remember them, and like the Yu-Gi-Oh cards just don't fit in them. There's all this extra empty space and all that.
Right.
Yeah, they're sliding
She-
around.
Yeah, it's just she ran it through the washer, and then like I take it out. And my Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, he can't come out. He's like he's stuck in there. And like the ink has stuck to the front thingy or whatever. And so I try to take it out. Yes, I try to take it out, and like 4 parts of the picture just rip out. They just rip out. I'm like, oh no. So then I remember, and then as I pulled it out, then like the whole front, like the whole part with like the ink and everything, just peeled off. So I remember taking some tape and like making little like rings with it, double siding it so that I could stick the picture back on. And then I put the card back in the sleeve. And tried to match it up to like the parts of the picture that had ripped out of it.
Do you still have that? to this
No,
day?
I wish.
Oh,
It's
man.
gone.
Dude, that would be God, what a classic.
I wish you still had it. I want you to send it to BGS to see if they would do.
They
Oh
would
my!
throw it in
It's
the trash. They wouldn't know what to do with it other than throw it in the trash. Oh, this was a mistake. Throw it in the trash.
bro. Yeah, that was.
That's
yeah, it was-
fire.
That was like my beginnings with Yu-Gi-Oh. Then eventually I started playing it competitively. I was playing like wind-ups and then 6 Samurai, and like
Oh yeah.
it was crazy. Cause I remember like I made top 8. I think I can count every time I did in top 8 over the course of like 2 years on 2 fingers.
Okay.
So I was really cracked at Yu-Gi-Oh. And then I remember, so then the game started getting like really bad, right? The game started to get really broken in power crap.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not what took me out of the game though. Because I remember, so we got the Duelist Alliance and introduced Burning Abyss, Teller Knights, Shadalls.
Oh yeah. That format.
It was like power creep. It just jumped all of a sudden.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't care though. I remember because I quit that format, and it was because I was like I think like 17 maybe, and I didn't have a job or anything. You know, like I'm a teenager. I'm not working. I'm just going to school. And somehow, so because my parents just gave me money all the time. And which makes it even crazier. I was stealing structure decks from from Walmart. But anyway, so I have $600, and my parents. I remember I bought the entire Burning Abyss deck off of eBay. They bought all off eBay. This was back when I was like Yu-Gi-Oh! Mint.com, eBay, and all that. But I bought the entire deck off eBay, and then I put it together, and then I went to my first local Game Academy. RIP Game Academy. Local's no longer around. It's full of thieves though. It's nothing but that's Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh
players,
yeah.
though,
Yeah.
actually.
I remember.
I signed up for my local, and then before round 1 had even begun, my deck was stolen. And that's what took me out of the game. That's why I quit Yu-Gi-Oh! It wasn't because the game got really... Because honestly, as unbalanced as the game is and everything, I think the Stockholm Syndrome, if my deck hadn't been stolen, I'd probably still be playing it today.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
If the power creep didn't take you out of the game, it was just your good $600 deck being stolen. Yeah, I can understand why you stopped.
I mean, especially for a 17-year-old, it's like,
Yeah.
where are you gonna get another $600, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the crazy part too was because like we had come off of Spellbook Dragon Roller format, and I bought Spellbooks. I bought Spellbooks in their entirety. I remember I remember like I didn't really know Cortez at the time. Cortez is like the guy that like works at the local that we all attend now. But Cortez was like, I got my cards through him all the time. So I remember like going to him. This was like my first like real interaction with him, like first conversation. And I remember being like, I want Spellbook of Judgment. He was like, okay. And then he was like, what about it? I was like, I don't have a credit card. I can't shop online. What am I supposed to do? And he's like, I want me to buy it for you. I was like, okay. So I hand him $300 to buy me 3 Spellbook of Judgment. I come back to the local next week. He hands me my 3 Spellbook of Judgment. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. I built the deck.
That's a really good deal for Judgment back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good on Cortez, by the way, for doing that too. That's awesome.
I remember so I have the deck put together finally.
Yeah.
So I'm ready. I'm so excited to play it next week. I come to the and it just the card gets banned. The card just gets banned. I'm like, oh. Okay.
Yeah, for good reason.
I was so broken. So I remember so it's like, okay. So I sell everything else off because everything else still has a lot of money because like it's just a very expensive deck.
Yeah.
And I sell the deck and I put that money towards buying Burning Abyss, and then Burning Abyss gets stolen. It's like, okay, I don't have a deck to fall back on because I sold my last deck. It's like there's nothing here. There's literally nothing here. And then so yeah, I quit Yu-Gi-Oh, and then I stayed out of card games for a bit, and then I started playing Pokemon, and I joined it like in the middle of like another. I don't know if it's like a tier 0 format or whatever. It's probably not tier 0, but like the deck was clearly broken. Gardevoir GX came out. I started playing that deck because it was pink. Pink's my favorite color, and within like her first month of being legal, she won Worlds. So yeah, I was obviously. I remember like me. I would destroy it on that deck. Like me and Cortez would go to locals. We would drive like an hour plus out to go to random locals just to both get the grand finals to clean out. And I remember he was on this one deck called Tapu Bulu. Doesn't really matter, but I remember like we would get to grand finals, and every time he'd be like, "All right, Chris, we got here. Let's split." And I'd be like, I'm favored in you. So I'd make him play it out. I'd beat his ass, obviously. Yep. And then we'd go to the counter, and he'd be like, who got it? I'm like, we're splitting.
Okay, to be in your defense, Cortez should not have been coping on the Tapu Bulu deck. I remember that era of Cortez. That deck was not good.
That was not. And then I remember selling, cause like that deck was like, it was cracked. So I remember like this deck doesn't have a long lifespan. I've learned my lesson with spell books. I'm gonna sell it right now. I've spent like $110 on the deck, and I won so many locals and gotten so much store credit with it that I max raried it. So I sold the deck for $1,000. I spent 110, sold it for 1,000, and I quit Pokemon. I was just done with it.
Yes.
And that's what now brings us to One Piece. That is why we are finally playing this game.
Is that your direct timeline? Did you jump straight? Like, did you end Pokemon and then the One Piece TCG get announced, or was it like?
No.
Did you have a break between TCGs at that point then?
Yeah, I took a break because there wasn't a TCG. I wanted to play a card game, but I didn't want to play Yu-Gi-Oh because it was beyond help. Yeah, so I was just waiting for something to come out, and I kept telling myself I was gonna get into Magic. For some reason, though, like mechanically and everything, it's sound. I just can't bring myself to play it for some reason. Like I want to, but it just does not hold my interest. So
you can't do land pass. I get it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's too complicated, right? No, it's the art. It's the art. It's weird to say because there's so many different artists and everything, but the art I just don't care for it.
Okay.
So I didn't play card games for like 4 years, and then One Piece. Guillermo was like, One Piece is getting a card game. I was like, I don't care. And he was like, I've got all 4 of the starter decks, so you don't even have to buy any. I was like, oh, cool, let's play. And that's how we got here today. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. I care now. So I'm gonna go to that then, because you bring up the structure decks, and that's something that I wanted to get with you, is because you love Luffy. At least you loved Luffy in set 1 structure deck, stuff like that. But I don't believe you don't like Luffy in the anime, right? I don't
like the Straw Hats.
Yeah, you don't like any of the Straw Hats. So
I like Robin. I like Robin, and Chopper's kind of lit, but
this is always a question I had for you, is like, what brought you to play Red over, again, like Eustace Kid was the best deck then, and like, or even Doflamingo at the time, or actually in structure deck format, funny enough, Croc actually was a really good competitor in the structure deck format. So anyways, that's my question to you. Why did you go to Luffy? What was driving you to play Luffy?
Well, I already knew I liked red decks. Because it's like I tried repeatedly to get into Magic. Like on paper, I should like it.
Yeah.
I just don't. And I already knew I liked like low to the ground red aggro decks and everything. So when I came to One Piece, I was like, I was talking to her. I was like, what is the red deck? He said it's Luffy. I was like, okay. He handed it to me, and that was it. That was literally it.
Accepted it. Okay, all right. Hey, no.
I was like,
it doesn't have to be complicated. I was always curious because I knew that you didn't like. I remember I had a conversation with you. Yeah, me and you drove to like an hour and a half long way locals, and I know that me and you've had these conversations.
That's where you were talking about how good Iceberg was.
Dude, Iceberg's cracked, dude. You can't tell me he's not, dude.
Bro.
All right. So the next thing that I kind of wanted to get into, and Colin, you can interject if you have anything you want to ask here, by the way. Was I'm gonna stay on One Piece for a little bit here, because we're just getting into the One Piece topic here. And for 5 sets, I would say you did not take the game competitively, right? Maybe you did for set 1 because you enjoyed the card game then, but definitely for 4 sets minimum, you didn't. What brought you back? What kept you away? And kind of for those 5, and then what brought you back in set 6?
So I took it very seriously in OPO1. Just because the leader I enjoyed the leader I was playing. And then in OPO2 we got Whitebeard, and he kind of like killed a lot of I like lost a lot of like drive to play the game just because I thought the game got so boring. And then I realized that Luffy played favorably into Whitebeard, so then I was still on the game competitively. So I stayed on that, and I went to Treasure Cup Miami, and I went 7-2 there. Like they did really well.
Yeah.
And then
that was
we went into OPO3.
Yeah, that was during set 1 though. Was the Treasure Cup though?
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. So that's what it was. So then we went into OPO2. We got Whitebeard, and then I was like, I'm kind of done with the game because I can't play Luffy because Whitebeard's the new red leader, and if I can't play the leader I want, then I don't want to play the game. And then it turned out Luffy was actually good, so then I kept playing Luffy. And then we got into OPO3. And I was excited for Katakuri because I thought he was gonna be insane. Then I realized I hated yellow. Yeah, I realized I hated yellow. I hated triggers.
Like a lot of people.
Yep. I also we're still doing like every grand finals, just like a Whitebeard mirror match and all that. So, and then that's where it started. It was OPO3. Getting Katakuri played so favorably into Luffy.
Yeah,
he played so favorably into Luffy. So it was. I remember like coping still, because like Whitebeard was still the deck. So I remember like going to, I forget which, we went to another regional, and I remember telling myself, if I could just dodge Katakuri, I would just have to play it into, because Luffy was still on like Destruction and all that, like with Robin and Vista and stuff. Go for
This was Kissimmee, I think, right? Me and you were discussing, because you were staying with us in Kissimmee. This was Kissimmee, I think, that you brought Luffy for that event.
I think so, maybe. Yeah, I think so. You're right.
Because we tested this matchup at the RBB. Sorry, a little lore on us, but yeah. So you came to us with the Kissimmee. You brought Luffy to that event, and then I'll let you go. But I know the first 2 rounds for you were fucking hilarious for me, on my perspective, on what you wanted to do for that tournament.
I remember. So I was like, the meta right now is it's Whitebeard, Law, Zoro. These are our big 3, and Luffy plays favorably into Whitebeard. He plays favorably into Law, and he plays really good into Zoro. So I was like, so long as I hit the big 3, I'm golden. That's all I care about. I just gotta dodge Katakuri. That's all I have to do.
Yep.
And then so I take Luffy with me. Round 1, I hit Katakuri. I was like, are you serious? Are you serious, bro? So of course I lose. I lose with like a 4 life deficit. Then I go into round 2. I hit Katakuri again. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Bro, I was so tilted. I was playing against Geo too. And Geo eventually went on to like go for it.
Yeah, I know, the local player of ours. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Geo eventually went on to win a regional with Katakuri like 4 sets later. But I played into Geo. I remember being so salty in that matchup too, because I remember I hit him 5 times and he hit 5 triggers, and it just made me so angry. I was so mad about that, like playing that. I remember too, after he won, like I interviewed him and he brought up that game, and I was like, bro. But yeah, so that was where like I just lost all. Like the minute that happened, I just did not care about One Piece anymore. I was sitting there waiting for a leader I enjoyed playing, because I can't really like, I don't enjoy just winning. I have to actually enjoy like the process of winning. So I have to enjoy the deck that I'm piloting. If I don't, then I just don't enjoy playing the game. So OPO3, I couldn't play Luffy anymore because Katakuri was everywhere. Because Florida loves yellow for some reason. So I put it down. And then I started coping on Purple Crocodile. Because I remember I played around with him in OPO1, and he was actually kind of sauce. Like he won a case tournament. He won a PPG case tournament, and then like all the prices spiked on TCG player, and he actually had a really good run from like the last 3 weeks of OPO1, and then we went into OPO2, he got power crept out the game. So I was like, all right. I was like, there's something here. This leader, there's something here. There wasn't, right? There wasn't. Then we move into OPO4. OPO4, randomly Mono Croc is good all of a sudden, right? And I was like, well, if Mono Croc's good, why not why not Purple Crocodile, right? He's Mono Croc but better.
Oh yeah, they're the same thing, right?
Bro, it's the same as extra color pool, right? Yeah, he draws cards, right? So I remember it's like, okay, well, if Mono Croc's good, Purple Croc is gonna go insane. So I remember Garen's on Mono Croc, and we're running that matchup, and it's so Purple Croc favored. I was like, my god, there's something here. There's something here. All I have to do is dodge Katakuri. So mind you, I've now jumped to my second.
Because that's the only thing you're concerned about is the Katakuri, yeah.
I've now jumped to my second deck that just auto loses to Katakuri.
Yep.
And I lose to Katakuri, right? So then we go into OPO5. We go into OPO5, and I'm still labbing this leader, right? And then it hits me. And I was like, we're in OPO5. I still don't care about any of the leaders we get. I was excited for Sakazuki. I played him. I was like, oh, this deck's so boring. So I didn't play it. So I went back. I was like, I'm not playing One Piece again. I don't care. I don't have a leader I want to play. I'm not playing One Piece. And then I'm like, what was I doing for fun before, right? Because I was like, I have a YouTube channel now, so I can't just not. I gotta do something, right? So I'm at least playing for fun. So I'm back on Purple Crocodile, running some matchups. And that's when I realized, it was like, because he actually played very favorably into a Nell. He destroyed a Nell because he just dropped a bunch of big bodies. Sakazuki, we won't really like talk about. It was very high roll. If they outed the first Kaido, the matchup required you to see a bunch of top end. It's like you played the Kaido, you drew 4, he was gonna get answered. He's just gonna get answered. And then you dropped a second one and hope it's done. That was it, right? And then there was Purple Luffy. And Purple Luffy, that matchup, funnily enough, that was like Luffy, that was like Purple Croc's best matchup because no one knew how to play it, right? Because realistically, the deck was it just ramped to 10 and dropped Kaido. And if the Luffy players had known what I was trying to do on Croc, they would just play Magellan and then the deck would just die, right? That was it. But they didn't, so they'd play like 5-cost Kid or something instead. So then you just dumpster them too. So we were in a meta where I'm trying to turbo into this 10 drop that wants the opponent to be on 3 life. Enel was 4 inherently, and he took all the time. So you drew off in the end, you drew in the Enel matchup, you drew in the Kata matchup, you drew in the purple Luffy matchup. So it was a consistent win condition, you know? So it's like, this is crazy. This is actually insane. So I went to take him to Nats. Then I found out Nats, like, he couldn't just walk into it, right?
Yeah, no, can't just walk in, but yeah.
and now we're in OPO6, and like we have 5 life leaders. Power creep it's kind of insane. Gecko Moria and Sakazuki, literally, but you cannot play Purple Crocodile right now. You can't. But anyway, we finally have a leader that I enjoy playing. We have Gecko Moria. I think that leader is so sick. I think he's so fun. And now that I can go for it.
No. Finish your thought. My bad.
Okay, I was gonna say, and that is why I'm finally taking the game seriously again, because it is the first time since OPO2 where there is a leader that is actually competitive that I actually enjoy playing, because it has not happened since Luffy playing favorably into Whitebeard in OPO2. This is the first. The first.
Rewind to Nats real quick. Have you ever publicly talked about your Rush Usopp story?
No.
And we now.
I just remember like watching some other channel's deck profile on you, because you took your blue purple croc to a side event and you're doing like really well with it for like the first few rounds. And then I remember
So I did well. I actually did well on that side of it. It was
like one of the last, I think it was like the last round or something, because I remember you walked back to us when we were going back to the car and you were like mauling about your Sakazuki matchup.
So it's so funny too, because literally, okay, all right, so I actually did really well on that side event. I think it was 7 or 8 rounds. I think it may have been 7. It's 7 or 8 rounds, and I went X2. I only lost 2 games. Both of them were to both of them were to Sakazuki, and it wasn't due to being like outplayed or anything, right? Because I had built that deck specifically for that matchup. I was running 7-cost Porcelino because it hit everything that Sakazuki played, and it hit everything that Katakuri played. I mean, and I'll play it up to a certain point, right? Up to like 9 Dawn maybe. So I actually the deck was made for that matchup specifically, and I lost to it twice. And the first one was I played into a Sakazuki, and they were playing like I had, oh my god, Saka ran 8 2Ks. He ran 8 2Ks. 6 of them were in the trash. So I was like, I win. I go to push game on the final turn, and I swing like 13 with my croc or whatever. I'm like, I just win. I can't lose. And then he dropped 6 2Ks, and 2 of them are Barto blocker. I was like, what? Like, so that is how I lost that one. It was a tech that I wasn't prepared for that blew me out. I was like, okay, whatever. And then I go on, I win the rest of my games, and then I run into another Sakazuki, this is like my 3rd or 4th Sakazuki at this point. I hit another Sakazuki, and he swings at me with leader, and I have counter in hand. I can counter out of it, but I don't, because I'm going to take this attack because I'm going to kill him on the following turn. I just want the extra card, right? Why not?
Yeah.
So I have 1K, and then he hits me with leader. I take the attack. I don't pick up counter. Then he plays Rush Usopp, puts 1 Dawn on it, and hits me again. I was like, what? And I only have 1K. I can't counter out of it. I took the attack because that was his last attack for the turn. If that was anything but Rush Usopp, I won that game. But anyway, he hits me with Rush Usopp, and then I end up going X2. That's the. And then I was X1 because Barto blocker in Sakazuki, and then I was X2 because of Rush Usopp and Sakazuki.
Your 2 losses were due to like the randomest bullcrap I've ever heard of.
I love the idea that guy with Rush Usopp is like his X1 in that side of it. That's crazy.
I was so angry. I was actually.
Oh, you were
so mad. Oh my god. And the guy you could tell he wasn't the greatest player. Like, so to lose him, it made me even angrier. And he was laughing the entire time. So
I would be too if I killed someone with
tilt.
Rescue Stop.
Bro, oh my god. And then I was there with and he hits me with the Russian Usopp, right? I'm like, that's bullshit. I'm so angry. He is like, that's why I run it, and I'm just so mad. I'm so mad. So then I go back to the boys, and I come to you guys, and I'm just angry. I'm so mad. But yeah, that was my bro. My purple croc run was so good. If it weren't for those two things that happened. Oh my god.
I'm so sorry. That's crazy though. Here's what I can say though. That is cool though that you did so much prep on that deck and you got it to where the only thing you could lose to against the Sokka matchup. I know you could lose to better players at the time. Like, I'm not saying that you couldn't, right? But the fact that you only lost to shenanigans is kind of crazy,
bro. Oh my god. Like, bro, that deck, because I really did feel like I felt like he was, I really did feel like he was a meta call because like he just beat a Nell.
You should have told me. I would have ran it in Nats, dude. If you would have told me, I would have ran it that night.
Bro, he just beat a Nell. Purple Luffy didn't know how to auto win into you. So you would beat them too, because by the time they realized what you were doing, it was too late. Yeah. And then it was just Sakazuki. It was literally you'd stick like a croc out there or something, and the idea behind it was, aside from those two losses to Sakazuki, was they would spend all their resources outing the first like giant body you played, and you'd stick the second one, and then they just wouldn't be able to answer it. And so then you'd bully them with that. You'd just keep dropping big bodies that are healing you along the way and stuff, or drawing so many cards that they can't connect and stuff. So like it made a lot of sense on paper. It worked a lot of the time, but there was I just like that, man. But now we're finally at a period where like there is a good leader that I can enjoy the game on. So this is where we are. Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
What's drawing you to Gecko, actually? Speaking of that, because that's a crazy story. You love that leader. You loved it for so many sets. What drew you to Gecko? Because in my opinion, Gecko is like, it's just a shitty Dofi. No, I'm kidding.
I played
Yu-Gi-Oh! Improved Dofi.
Yeah.
I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And like in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like your hand is your hand, but then like
your graveyard's your hand.
Graveyard's your hand too, right? Yeah. So I was excited to play out of grave. Like,
no, that's fair. I mean, your first deck that you picked in the new set was Burning Abyss, which, by the way, Moses is gonna love you for that. I don't think he knows that about you, but he is the diehard BA player. He played BA. He played BA when it was the worst. He played it when it was the best. So,
bro, yeah, like
that. Yeah,
it was. Because I remember that was at that point too. Like when I picked him, like BA was still kind of scuffed.
Yeah,
like. Yeah. Their whole like win con, they only had like, there were 6 BA monsters at that time, and they were just playing this OTK deck instead, where it was like you're just making like a Dante, a Virgil, and summon another one, and you just hit people. Like you didn't run any back row. It was just balls to the wall, like gooey ball. You just full send it, and that's what the deck was. But yeah, I've always liked decks that played out of the trash. Whenever I drafted in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or anything like that, I would always use cards that played out of the trash. Even in Edison, I play like zombies. I love playing out the trash. So the minute they revealed Gecko, I knew like off rip I was going to be on that leader immediately.
So the next thing I want to discuss with you, because this will be the last One Piece topic in terms of like actual card game. We'll stop talking about the boring stuff now. So the last thing I do want to talk to you about though is the what are you doing now that you found this leader in set 6? Because we've been playing the game pretty competitively since I've been since set 2 pretty much. Colin has been since the beginning of set 5, end of set 4. What about you though? What are you doing to prepare to get prepared for, like, let's say Kissimmee? Are you just testing? Are you doing a lot of are you watching a lot of VODs? What is your routine on a day-to-day for you in terms of trying to get better for Kissimmee?
I don't know if I'd say it's day to day. Like,
okay,
you know, but yeah, a lot of it is play testing the bad matchups. Or just the matchups in general. Playing into them repeatedly. A lot of it has been dedicated specifically to Gecko and Katakuri. So I've been like, I watch all the events and everything. The only thing I do in my own time is I review the rounds 8 and up. I will always review the anytime there's a Gecko Kata matchup, I record it and I just study it. And it was like when we ran that matchup, for like 5 hours with like us and Arvin, right? And we like arrived at certain conclusions and everything. Like I would just be watching like the higher level Gecko players that are winning the events and everything into that matchup, and like seeing everything that they were doing was like reaffirming what we thought for the most part, you know. And yeah, I don't know. It was just a lot of just trying to understand that matchup. Now it's paying for Cross's Patreon to see how he plays that matchup.
We're still shilling that Patreon, aren't we, boys?
Check out our Gecko Moria review video.
Here's all.
It'll be posted here or something.
Yeah. I feel pretty comfortable into all the matchups. It's just Gecko Katakuri. So like, a lot of the Gecko preparation is just preparing for that specific matchup. So it's just a lot of studying it, watching it, playing it.
Are you not afraid of, or not to say that you're not afraid of it, but what about the Sokka matchup? Have you solved that? Do you feel like it's already solved as the Gecko player into the Sokka, or the Gecko player going into the Sokkas? Like, what are you doing for that matchup? Because I mean, we've seen that deck take off with the stage build or the hybrid or even standard. Standard's still doing fine. So what's going on in your head about the Sokka matchup as the Gecko player?
I'm very comfortable in that match. I mean, I remember like me and Arvin, we ran it for 4 hours straight, just that one specific matchup, and then we played like 2 games of Reiju. But we played that matchup extensively, and like it was very, in the beginning, the like win-loss record was very, very, very negative. But like by the end of it, like the matchup just made sense, and it's very positive all of a sudden. So like it makes sense. It in playing it and everything, you know, it feels good. I remember like, it was our last local, like me and Moham ran that matchup and I got it. Like it's not a hard one, right? You can afford to, whether they make you go first or second. Like if you go first, then you probably should just win. And if you go second, like you play your Gecko first because you're on 8 Dawn. You play yours before they can. And your Gecko can literally just do something like Hogback Sindri, pick up a second Gecko. So it's like you just threw bodies out there. And then they have to respond with their Gecko, and then you do a removal Gecko in response. You just take their board. The fact that you can just like keep picking Geckos up and everything, like I feel like that matchup is really good for Sakazuki. I mean, really good for Gecko. It feels very Gecko favorite in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know. It's like also like I don't know, getting comfortable because I think a lot of it too. Like the matchup was like rough at first, but I think it's just because there's a lot of things just wasn't comfortable with the idea of like throwing a Kuzan out on 4, because it's like if he gets answered, you kind of wasted your turn, but he replaced himself. He pulled resources out their hand to answer him and stuff. Same with Sabo. Got very comfortable with Sabo on 5 just because it sets up the Gecko play and everything. I have no like gripes or anything with the Sokka matchup. I feel like at worst it'd be 50-50, but I really do think it's a Gecko favorite matchup. And then there is Reiju, and me and Arvin figured that one out pretty quickly. She only has like 1 or 2 attacks for like the first 3 or 4 turns of the game, so you just counter out of them. So when she does the judge push and everything, you know, you're healthy enough to take it, and then it's literally it. Like I don't think
they can't remove your Geckos
is...
either. If just be like
they
your
can't.
drop. Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It's the only thing that was giving me trouble up to this point was the Katakuri match. There's also the Gecko Mirror too, right? There's the Gecko Mirror, and that one kind of feels like a coin flip. I'm not gonna lie, because like you can understand how to play on paper and everything, but like if you just don't see the cards, like if they see more Geckos than you or something, like you just kind of lose, or your Geckos doesn't see the right targets to play off of him and stuff. But yeah, it's Katakuri. It's Katakuri. Yeah.
We'll get more practice on you for that matchup. Don't you worry. I think the next thing we do want to talk about is like your YouTube side of things. I'll let Colin kind of take over from there, because I know he loves the YouTube talk and stuff. So
I guess in the transition too, since we were talking about what your day-to-day is like, so what is it now that you're being more competitively focused and spending the time watching VODs, subscribing to Cross's Patreon, playtesting with us and all that? How does that mix in with your content creation? Like what's the balance there?
I don't think there is one. I don't know. It depends on how driven I am at the moment, because if I'm pumping out content, because like every time I edit a video, like because I have like a very specific editing style and everything, my videos like look a specific way and stuff, and like a lot of it is because I enjoyed, before I started the YouTube channel, I actually just enjoyed editing because I liked like the reason my videos look the way they do is because I take a lot of pride in how the final product looks. And I like putting hours and stuff into like setting everything up and then like rendering it and then looking at it and like it looks really good. That's what I enjoyed a lot about video editing. And then once YouTube started like once started to garner a following and YouTube started to pay and stuff like that, all of a sudden it's no longer it's not fun anymore. So it's like because it turns into this obligation where I no longer enjoy, because before I did it for the love of editing, whereas now when I'm doing it because it feels like it's an obligation, like I have to maintain this channel, and so it turns into like another shift basically, because my videos take on average like at minimum like 5 hours to edit. So it's like I'm sinking all this time. It's like I'm probably working I've worked 9 hours and then my shift ends and then I'm gonna throw another 5 to 8 hours at editing a video and recording with the guys and everything. So it literally just turns into a second job. So when I'm doing YouTube, like when I'm actually grinding it, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of like aligning schedules with the guys and stuff, thinking of stuff to upload and everything. But I do think right now that I am more like competitively driven and everything, I feel like I don't have the time to really do YouTube too much as much. So now it's like it's something I will only like record and like edit stuff on my days off now. Whereas before it was like when I was still like starry-eyed or whatever, it was like I'm gonna work my shift and then I'm gonna clock out and then I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna put it out. I'm gonna have like 3 or 4 videos a week. Now it's probably like it's maybe 1 or 2 a week, if that. Sometimes just go for it.
Sorry to cut you off there, but so what comes first for you then? Is it the channel or is it like competitive One Piece at the moment? If you had to choose, obviously you're still working on both, but
it's competitive One Piece.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna lie, like anyone who's watching this, I assume is probably like a small hat viewer, so they're probably already aware, you know.
Yeah.
Like the channel's been very, very neglected recently, and a lot of that it's been very neglected ever since we've gone into OPO6, and it's because like I'm taking this set more seriously, and I feel like time spent editing and everything is time that could be spent. It's why I've started streaming more often now, because it's something you can kind of do on the fly, because you can just do that. I also like you can do it on the fly. It doesn't take 6 hours of editing. You actually get to interact with your community and everything. Because like, I interact with chat all the time, whereas my comment section not so much, you know, because there's just degeneracy in there. So like I'll upload a video, I'll probably read the comments for like the first 30 minutes to an hour, and then I probably won't touch them for a week, you know. People will very often find like they'll probably like post a comment, and then like a week later they'll see like I heart reacted it or something. Like that is why I do not read my comments or anything. I usually only interact with my community like in Discord or when I'm streaming. That is probably it. Because I also feel like for the most part too, the kind of like the style of content that I want to do and everything, because I want all of it to be very like personality driven and stuff, so that my viewers are there for me rather than like what I'm uploading and stuff. So I try to like stay away from certain types of topics and stuff like that, because I don't want to be reduced to like having to do a certain kind of thing and being locked into that. I want people to watch for the small hats is the thing. I also feel like it'll make it very easy to like pivot, you know, because like if I've built the foundation on people watching for my personality, then if I decide one day One Piece isn't what I want to do anymore and I want to pivot to something else, like full-time streaming or something, the foundation should be my personality, right? So they're still gonna, you know, a decent amount of them. But yeah, I don't know. I've been neglecting the channel. I really have.
It's all right.
And bro, I just feel like I just don't know what to upload is another thing. I talked to just go for it.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. Finish that thought, and then I'll talk to you about it.
I say I'll talk to some other One Piece content creators and everything, and like that's kind of the sentiment that like we all just kind of share. Like, every time I talk to somebody, like the one thing that always comes up is we're always like what do you do? Like, there's only so much. The game is so new, and it feels like for the most part, everything has already been done to some kind of extent. So a lot of it feels like regurgitating the same like thing, but putting your own twist on it and stuff like that. And it's something I've just never been a fan of. So like I just find it so hard to think of new things to make videos about and stuff like that. So I just won't upload. I just don't upload, and instead spend that time doing literally anything else.
And that was something that I was like, because like Chris, talking to you, I love talking to you, I love hanging out with you because you are a very fun person to hang out with. Your personality as a character is hilarious. Like you are fun to hang around with. But what I love about that is that I think you as a streamer works. You as a content uploader, like uploading a single video for me in my head doesn't make sense after getting to know you more. You as a streamer though, when because you have a 24/7 personality. You don't turn off. You like every time someone brings up a hot take, like a good take, a shit take, anything that happens around you, you've got a response to it, and it's instant. It's comedic, it's funny, it's on time. There's no like, and if you don't, you still make it funny, like going like it is just you, and that's why I like actually have been really loving the idea of you streaming your locals and stuff like that. Because I mean, I only go to SSG right now for myself for Sunshine Games. I don't for locals. So I know that, but I know that I think you've been doing it at Cool Stuff as well on Tuesdays if you go out there. But I think that's brilliant for you. I think you, because you said it, you want to transition eventually because maybe one day you won't like One Piece. I think you doing your streaming stuff now is what's going to carry you to be able to transition. Because content uploading, I love your videos. You know, I love watching some of your videos when you and the guys are arguing. That's probably my favorite parts. But it's not you in my head. For you in my head, it's like for 3 hours, I want to listen to you just have interactions with people out in the world, and that's what locals is, and it's great for you. I think.
I feel that a lot. Go for it.
I was gonna say too. I feel like for you in the position you're in right now, when you're trying to focus on getting more testing and getting improving for the competitive side of things, I think you're killing two birds with one stone, right? Between going to locals, just put on the streaming, that way you get to engage with your community but still get the practice that you personally need.
Yeah, I do like, cause I feel the same way. I also feel like a part of the reason the channel goes so neglected is because like I think because the channel has become so personality driven. Because I remember before I ever even started YouTube, I remember like years ago, before like One Piece was even a thing, I remember it was Nick saying he thought he said he thought I had the personality for like content creation and everything.
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
And I don't know, like it always stuck with me. So I remember like once One Piece finally came around, and I like realized like what he said was a sentiment that I guess many people shared. Mm-hmm. It became very like enjoyable or whatever, but like because it's so personality driven too, I think like it's part of the reason, like because a lot of people, as I've said before, a lot of One Piece content is one guy talking to himself in the camera, right? And I feel like it's very hard to like display personality doing that, so I never upload videos like that. You can count every video where it's just me on one hand on that channel. So that's another reason I want to upload, because like I can have an idea, but then I still have to like figure out how it factors in multiple different people and everything, because I feel like the best showcase of personality is how your personality like bounces off of other people and stuff like that. Otherwise you're just like talking to yourself in the camera, right? And I feel like there's only so much you can do. It's why like I feel like Manny started his own YouTube channel before we did. Manny is Manny Fest. He started his own channel, and the only like I watched Manny's videos because like Manny's a friend. I enjoy, like, I know him on a personal level and everything, so I enjoy listening to him talk and things. Like if I'm doing my own thing and I have to listen to someone talk, I'd like it to be someone like I enjoy talking to and listening to and stuff like that. So I always support friends and listen to friends and stuff like that. But like Manny on his own channel versus Manny on like our channel, it's like night and day, because there's actual things for him to respond to and there's stuff like that. And I feel like it's a handicap to like be your own person on your own channel if you're trying to make it be personality based, is the thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can agree with that. I think, well, for us it was more or less just us four have been testing for a while. We click, we play One Piece together. There's not an individual here that plays it separately for the most part. If we're playing One Piece, it's usually together. So all of our ideas, all of our thoughts, we become kind of cohesive. And so having that being able to be, put onto a channel, I think was the best fit. And Colin, props to him for taking it over and running it for the most, for all of what he does is an amazing thing. But that's great to hear though. I'm glad other people recognize you though as the person that is good for content, because I think you're brilliant for a lot of things. I think you have that personality that is good on a camera. There's no doubt about that.
Thank you. I remember for a long time too, because I felt another reason I didn't do a lot of solo content was like the reason I said before, but also I kind of felt like for example, like I'd have a small hot local or whatever, and like if Manny wasn't going to be there, then I just would cancel it for the week, because I've always felt like my personality was very like dependent upon other people and stuff like that. I always felt like I wouldn't do good solo content.
Yeah.
And then and then there's only like 5 videos where I'm solo on the channel, and 4 of them are like 4 of the best performing videos on the channel. And there was just like one week where I said, because I remember Manny had canceled 1 week, and I didn't want to cancel a second local, so I just said, why not? Yeah. And that's when I realized I loved streaming, because one of my biggest fears, because there are multiple One Piece creators a lot bigger than myself. There's a handful, right? And I would check in on their streams, and like I would watch their stream, and it just seemed miserable, like because like their chat was like dead, so they're just sitting there trying to fill air for like hours and everything, and I was like, I do not want that for myself. I do not want to turn on a stream and try to sit there and try to entertain people for 3 to 4 hours, because I just don't know how I would do it. Like at the end of the day, you're talking to yourself in a camera, right? It's always gonna come back to that. And so that was one of my biggest fears. And then when I finally did stream like solo, like whenever I'm doing like even the local streams to an extent, but like whenever I'm streaming at home, for example, or whatever, like I have a very, very, very active community. Like my chat is very, very active. Like if I'm whether I'm watching something or I'm hosting something, or I'm just shooting the shit, playing games on sim or whatever, like my chat, like I can interact with them, so I know I can hold a stream for multiple hours, because there's always going to be something to say, because there's always something to respond to. And that's just something I didn't expect, because like I'd watch a channel twice my size and not see a message in the last 20 minutes and be like, yeah, streaming's not the way to go. I just kind of assumed that was One Piece content streams in general, but I've come to realize that like I think a lot of it does just come down to like how you build your channel and your community and everything. And I do think because it's so personality driven, there's a lot of like interesting, I guess, like characters and everything, and then the viewer base and stuff like that. So I attract a certain kind of person and all that, and I feel like the people I attract are also very entertaining and interesting and like colorful and stuff like that too. Like just responding to them, like they could say a perfectly tame message, but at the end of the day their name's like Booty Skittles, right? Or their profile picture is like it's very graphic stuff that like I have to ask them why they don't change their profile picture. It's stuff like that. It's like even if they're just asking questions related to One Piece or whatever, because of the kind of individuals I attract, I feel like it's always an entertaining viewer experience. And like a lot of the connections I've made in the content creation space, usually I find them through streaming, because usually I'll be streaming and then they'll show up in my chat, and they'll always say, because like my stream is good background noise, because they just find it entertaining to listen to.
Hey, that's a plus.
I think that's like a sign that you're doing a great job, though. Yeah. Like,
if other people are coming to you,
that's like 99% of streams is people just put it on the background.
Yeah, that's what I've always wanted. That's why the Small Hat channel is a lot of long form content, because I remember before we even did our first video, the idea that me and Nick initially discussed was we wanted it to be like a podcast where people could put it on and just listen to it while they're driving somewhere or working or doing something. and like whenever I do meet a fan or whatever, and I'm talking to them, 99% of the time, that's how they listen to our content. Is they don't. It's like I put so much time into all the editing and everything, but most of them aren't even watching the video, right? They're just listening to it anyway. So
I mean,
don't
that's
know.
the thing though. When they start watching those videos, ooh, it's peak. It's peak. Look at those thumbnails. Those thumbnails go crazy.
You know, I don't know. I do also like though that like, because I do think it is another thing. A lot of people, because I feel like the editing and everything, like how it visually looks, you can tell a lot of care does go into the content, like the creation process of it. You
Yeah,
tell it's not just
absolutely.
like a quick upload just for the sake of it. Like you can tell hours have gone into it. So like usually it's like a nice thumbnail will catch their attention. They'll click the video and then they'll see it's nicely edited and that'll hold them, and then that'll keep them there long enough to be like, oh, I actually enjoy the personality behind the video. And then
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I guess leaning into that too, I want to ask you about, if you don't mind sharing, what's your process for determining, what sort of content you'll be putting out, how you coordinate that with the rest of the guys. Is there any sort of, I don't know, like, is there any sort of process to where someone pitches an idea and then it's been like vetted across the whole group, or is it just through you? Like, how does that work?
I usually figure out what I want to do. And because there's so many people, it's not, there's never an idea that like everybody needs to agree upon. I just kind of know like if I'm doing something, I know which people I can approach with that idea that will be on board for it. For example, like Nick doesn't like doing tier list, so like the recent tier list, Nick just wasn't on it. Like I'll know what I want to do, and then I'll go to the appropriate people for that, the people I think are a good fit for that, which was our first Discord interaction, Colin. Yeah.
Oh yeah, check out that video.
Yeah,
link in the description below.
Usually it's just yeah, I'll think of an idea, and then I'll just approach, and a lot of it too is like, do I think there can be an actual discussion to be had here, like, because if I don't think that we can reasonably talk about it for maybe 30 plus minutes, then it's probably not a discussion worth uploading to begin with. So yeah.
Is that your general
I like
target
that.
then? Is the long form content like that, like 30 plus minutes?
I think so. Yeah, no, it definitely is, because I also
Okay.
feel like that's one space that a lot of people aren't filling on like One Piece YouTube is
I
the
would
thing
agree,
too.
yeah.
I feel like that's another thing we have going for us. That's the niche that we're filling. People like to be entertained and listen to other people talk for extended periods of time, and like I'll see it all the time. Like if I'm not uploading, when I finally do upload again, people will, a lot of the comments will be about how they've had to do their drive to work without a video to listen to, or how they're at work with their AirPods in without something to listen to and stuff like that. And it's like, and whenever I do read those comments, it's always like, well, I really need to like get on my grind and keep uploading and stuff. And then I say that, and then I don't upload anyway. But
That's
Now
awesome.
you're giving
Bro.
the 3-hour content though with these streams. These streams are like, and that's another reason these streams are nice, because I think, especially our locals, I think our locals has a bunch of characters at them to interact with. So it's nice that like when you're even not in game, you have content for people to listen to or have as background noise.
yeah.
I know that I've interacted with your chat a little bit for sure. So yeah, I like that idea that they're able to listen to even the streams can be something for the background noise.
Yeah, I think another part too is because the part of the reason I start streaming our locals too is because I realize there's like a lot of times where like I'll be working, for example, and I'll just throw on a random like a local stream on Twitch,
Yeah.
and it's like I'm not paying it any mind. There's no commentary or anything. At most, you hear them do like 6 out later or whatever. It's just there's nothing there. So I was like, well, why don't I also stream that? Because I can do that also, right? If people are watching that, and if that is the standard that people are looking for, then any amount of personality on top of that's just a bonus, right?
Yeah. I like that. I think to kind of like wrap it up here, because I love this the topic and talking to you, Chris. But I think the last thing that I want to do, and I think you've already kind of touched on it, was what were you looking to do going forward? do you see yourself, because we get to, I mean, unfortunately with America, living in America that we are behind in sets, so we get to, all of our sets are revealed before we even get to touch them. Do you see yourself competitively taking One Piece going forward, or if Gecko gets phased out, do you like any leaders that have been revealed? And then the next question is, because it looks like Gecko's kind of phased out, and then we're seeing in set, I think it's in set 7 right now, RP Law is taking over there and stuff like that. Do you yourself taking the competitive scene more going forward, or you want to go back towards the YouTube? If you have any more ideas that come kind of better to you at going forward, with the upcoming sets.
Unfortunately, I feel like, so as far as if they're still within like the One Piece scape, I think because there is now like I don't know, like a YouTube channel that I do have to like maintain and stuff like that, and there is like a brand and there are playmats in the works and stuff like that, nice. And like seeing like the stuff that seeing like just the gravity of, because like this is only 3,000 subscribers, right? And there's already like such an influence within the community, so it's like it feels like one of those things where it's like I feel like I do have to continue to take the game more competitively, because I feel like you can't like have this entire YouTube channel and everything and like have nothing to show for it, like it's at the end of the day, I feel like you have to like give people a reason to believe that your opinion is valuable, right? So you have to be able to like back that and stuff. But also because I feel like a lot of it too is because I think I would like to do YouTube full-time, or not YouTube full-time, but maybe One Piece full-time specifically, and that's like the money in One Piece and stuff like that is coaching and stuff like that. So I think at the end of the day, if having fun is if I'm deciding between having fun and playing competitively, if there's ever that fork in the road, I think moving forward from now on, I will just suck it up and just do whatever it takes to get the win and everything, because at the end of the day, need the tops, the invites and everything if you want to be able to coach, to do this full time. That's another thing too, because it's like, if I can do this full time, then I don't have to work like 9 to 5, and if I don't have to work 9 to 5, then I don't have to spending 5 to 8 hours editing a video, that's just my shift for the day, right? It's not a second job that I have to do after I'm tired of the first shift. So I think there's that. And then I do think like eventually, ideally, because I don't see myself sticking with the way Power Creep's going and everything, and the cart design choices and stuff like that, and it being Bandai, I don't see myself on One Piece forever. So
are you open to new games? Like, I guess, do you see yourself staying in like the TCG sphere if like Bandai were to just suddenly overnight say, all right, we're not doing One Piece anymore, or if it goes down the drain like Dragon Ball Masters? Sorry, Dragon Ball fans, but you know what I mean.
There are none. If another card game could hold my attention, or
it could be other games too, like outside of TCGs. Would you be?
I was gonna
say
if another card game. Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Like, if another card game holds my attention, then I have no issue with pivoting to another card game. But I do think, ideally, I'd like to become more of like a variety streamer, I think, where I could just kind of play whatever the games I enjoy playing, or, just displaying my personality on stream for hours on end. If it's like, I'm like watching a video or whatever, and then somebody in chat is like, have you heard about this new crazy thing? And then like we're now delving into that instead and looking into that topic and stuff like that. I would like to eventually be able to just like variety stream. I would like to eventually just be able to pivot away from games entirely, not like never play games, but like I never want to feel like I have to play a game. And so when I do play games, it's games that I enjoy,
No, I like that. I like that, and I hope that works out for you because that's something that I would love to see you do. Is I would love to see your personality outside of the TCG world. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I also
definitely-
would love to see.
I agree. I think you have the personality to do it too, for sure.
I appreciate it. I since day one. I feel you have the personality for it also, Trevor. I'm still.
Shucks.
I really do.
Shucks.
I really do. I feel like you know, like I have no issues with like the idea of like leaving my chat to you, for example. You know, I feel like you have a personality for stuff like that also. So.
And I think we're working on it. I'm gonna be on more videos. I think for a while there, I was definitely I was MIA for some of the videos, so I'll be back for a lot more coming up. Hopefully for coming up in the future. So
Better be.
But I think other than that, Colin, unless you have anything else to say, Chris, same to you. Unless you guys have anything else to say, I think that's it. Chris, we thank you very much for being on this episode with us. We wanted to get a guest on, and I'm glad it was you that was the first one for sure.
Yeah, I love this conversation, man. It's like I thought that was very insightful. Everything we talked about with your process behind the channel and whatnot, and yeah, I just hope for the best for everything down the line. And of course, we'll know since we'll be testing a lot very shortly.
You know, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be able to because there are like random things in here, for instance, that I would like to like exist out there that I don't think would ever be a good fit for my own channel, like talking about like stealing Yu-Gi-Oh cards from Walmart and stuff like that, you know. So
I mean, that's kind of what we wanted It Connects to be. If we have a guest on, and I know that future episodes, and I'll give a little insight, we plan on doing like some fun topics during the It Connects podcast, because like I think something that we want to do is like our dreadful stories at at our locals, or even just your big tournaments, your most hype moments, definitely your most sad moments. We definitely want to go over a lot. Yeah, Rush Usopp, for instance.
I mean, that would be my personal vision for the podcast as well. And honestly, it was like one of the big motivations for starting this channel for me personally was a podcast like this where we can talk about our experiences TCG related. It not necessarily has to be specifically One Piece, but you know, our day-to-day, week to week as people that just hang out in a local game store, right? Or that go to major TCG events.
Yeah, no, it also doesn't hurt that like the Florida scene is kind of cracked, you know.
Yeah,
so I
sure,
mean, there's we got that going for us too. I would like to see, like, I don't know, a year down the line from now or whatever, Florida having more of a presence in online spaces and stuff like that, because you know, I feel like we do have a scene that is one worth promoting. We have a lot of players. They're just worth introducing to people and stuff like that. But no, again, thank you for having me on. I really do appreciate. I am glad I was the first guest. I am. 'Cause I think it'll be very cool years on down the line, being able to come back and watch this video and see where the channel is and stuff like that.
Hopefully we're
we
still
have
around.
many more. Yeah, we got many more collabs to go, buddy. We're not done yet. You know, like we still have stuff in the future.
Yeah.
We gotta get your winning Moria list. We'll have that in Kissimmee, right? You know, after all this testing you've been doing.
It's gonna be so crazy too, because I've been extensively like testing this one. I still play the soccer matchup from time to time, because I feel like you just have to, right?
Yeah,
you know, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like Nick plays soccer and stuff like that. But like regardless, if I put all this time into grinding this cat matchup and I just dodge it and lose to like a Perona, I'm gonna be so angry. I'll be furious.
Well, look, I don't want to keep the podcast running for too much longer here, but I will tell you that's going to be your roughest matchup is Perona. Funny enough, they kill everybody.
It's one of those things though, where like if somebody wants it that badly, they really want to beat a Gecko that badly, to where they play Perona, and they beat their one Gecko and then go 0-5 versus Katakuris. Just it's okay. Like if they really want it that badly, you know.
The worst tiebreaker. Yeah. Okay.
It is what it is.
Said you didn't want this to go on for too much longer, so
Yeah.
I
What
guess
I
we'll
was
wrap it
gonna
up
say is
here.
Oh, we're all three trying to talk at the same time, so I'm gonna let one of you guys go, and I'll shut the fuck up. That's
Yeah,
what we'll do.
I'll wrap
You
it
guys
up
go
here.
ahead.
So,
all right.
but Chris, anything else you want to plug in? Obviously, links to your channel will be in the description below. Actually, will be in the title. now that we can link that. But anything else you want to plug in before we go?
Yeah, guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to the Sun Pirates TCG, right? Subscribe to the channel. I've done YouTube, or I'm doing YouTube. Who knows if I'm still doing YouTube, like when you're watching this, depending on, but whatever. I've done YouTube. Subscribe, help them grow or whatever, because as channels grow, it becomes easier to get on more guests and stuff like that. And yeah, that's something that you would all like to see, right? Because there's going to be people out there that you want to see interviewed and stuff like that, and you don't have the means to reach out to them and, you know, get them on and stuff like that. So you make it possible for channels like these to do. There are many different people that I have had on the channel and stuff like that I would have never been able to do if it weren't for people subscribing and like building a following and stuff like that. So that's the reality of it. You enjoy the content, that's a bonus. Whatever, subscribe regardless. And that's it for me. Go for it, Colin.
All right, but yeah, thank you so much for that, Chris. All right, but yeah, both Small Hat Crew, Sun Pirates CCG, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and remember to click the notification bell to see what else is coming up. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching our 3rd episode of the It Connects podcast, and we will see you in the next one. Bye guys.
See you guys.
See you guys.